Welcome to episode 3 of the office makeover. Today is going to be a little unglamorous, but first let me share with you a little bit about my vision. We moved into this house 10 years ago, and when we did, the office was just kind of like a dumping ground for all the things that didn't have a home. So we were in survival mode, we had younger kids, and it just, things just ended up here. But I'm ready for a change, so let me share what my vision board looks like. I'm wanting to create a spot where I can have some focus, some really deep work. I do design work, both in the daytime and as a side job, and then creating YouTube videos. And so that requires a lot of brain work. And I just want a space where I can focus, where there's minimal distractions. I want to enhance the creative atmosphere by having this deep dark color. And part of the reason why I chose the dark color is because it's completely different than the rest of the living space. The rest of the living space is more like this wall color here, which is like a gray beige, it's just a very nice neutral. But I just wanted something so that when you walk into the room, it's like, this is a spot where I'm getting to work. It just signals to my brain that this is workspace, not general living space. And then I also picked the black because she's moody, not in like a negative way, but I wanted her to have some personality. I wanted her to feel like this is this mothering cocoon, a place where my creativity could grow, like a seed. It's dark and it's just a spot where it's cozy and there is just room to grow and just really root down into some good, deep work. All right, I'll talk more about yin and yang in my next video about light and dark and why I chose this color and just some more of the science behind it. But for now, we need to talk. So I want the paint in this room to look elegant and just really lovely. I don't want it to be blotchy or ugly. Obviously, nobody does. So we have to do the unglamorous but necessary prep work to get the room ready for paint. Now you can see behind me, I've already actually done that work, so we're gonna jump back in time and do that work together. It's gonna be filling in nail holes, sanding, washing, and then because we moved in, we didn't do the caulking around the trim work, we're gonna get that done in this room so that it's completely ready for new paint. A complete fresh start. I'll also need to put primer over the spots where I have patched and lay down some groundwork because I don't want to be crying in the middle of this renovation because I got paint on my floor. But first, guys, I'm taking you with me to pick up the paint and I'm excited. I have a coupon, so I'm hoping that they will honor that. I will actually have 2 coupons, so I'm hoping I can use them together. And if they won't, then I'll just buy the paint separately because I probably need 2 gallons for this room. It's going to be over 450 square feet of wall space. And so I just want to make sure that I have enough paint. So I'm going to get 2 gallons, which means I've got 2 coupons and I'm kind of hoping I can use them to help supplement my paint costs. I hope so. So we're going to jump in the car. We're going to go to the paint store and order the paint. And then I might have to go back to the paint store in the afternoon to pick up the paint. We're just going to kind of see what they'll do. Let's go.
Okay, you ready to go?
Yeah.
The truck does this thing where if I don't put it all the way into park, it won't turn over. And it scares me every time, but really I just need to put it all the way up into park. It's just my problem, not the truck's. See, no, she'll start. Yay! Okay, I quickly called the place. They said, come on in, check out the sheens to make sure the paint sheen that you're choosing is what you want. So I'm gonna do that, and it only takes a couple minutes to mix it. So let's go do it. I got lost on my way here. I swear I know where I'm going. No, I got the glasses thing. Rub it out, rub it out, rub it out. Okay, anyways, don't judge me on that. Oh, whoa. There's like a billion little kids walking by. Must be on like a school trip thing. Isn't this funny how the building has a giant paint can on the front of it? Here's all the beautiful paint chips. And then I was like, oh, I need to do the cool content creator thing and stand in front of the camera. So it's like, hey, I'm actually here. I thought you guys might appreciate that. Okay, that didn't go quite how I thought it was going to go. I felt a little bullied. I hate it when that happens. You know, I hate not knowing what I'm gonna say, and I'd already talked to somebody on the phone, so it was just kind of frustrating to be bullied like that. Okay, I had some time to think about it, and I don't think she was being mean. I think that she was just doing her job, but she was just very short, and I wish that she would have been a little bit more friendly. Honestly, I just wish she would have been a little more friendly. Gosh, my like glasses. Just ignore my nose. Don't look at my nose. I'm gonna go to work, but while I'm going to work, you guys are gonna jump back and watch me prepare the room to be painted. And then later tonight, I can actually start painting, which is gonna be next Friday's video, okay? So today, Tuesday, when this video comes out, you're gonna watch me do all the prep work and stuff. And then on Friday, the painting begins. Okay, I'm sorry I'm like leading this up to you. It's like a big leadway, but I did want it to be just kind of like a whole feature for the month and just to really soak it up. Come back in June, I'm going to be doing another decluttering series. I know, how much more can I declutter in my house? A lot. There's still stuff. You saw it even when I pulled this stuff out of the office. So I'm going to have a video of me going through all that office stuff. That'll actually be before June. Then I'll do like a little office reveal walkthrough thing, and then I'll start into other decluttering videos around the house. Go back into the kitchen and the bathrooms and see what else I can get out of those rooms. And also just starting to kind of beautify. So once I get to a point where okay, I've decluttered as much as like I'm going to start beautifying like I am for the office, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to actually add some personality into my home and, you know, decorate and stuff that I haven't done before because I've been intimidated by it. And also kids just kind of like mess stuff up anyways, but they're all getting older. So I've got a little bit more capacity to do that. All right, I'm turning red because it's warm in the truck. So I'm going to go to work now. I'll catch you guys later. Okay, we are jumping back in the past just to the week before, where I am preparing the room. We're going to take the plates off. We're going to fill in nail holes, sand, brush everything down, mop, and then caulk around the cracks in the room, as well as lay down ground cover and prime in the nail holes and stuff.
I'm gonna leave this one on here because I'm afraid to take it off. It's like higher voltage and everything, and anyways, I'm gonna be covering it up anyways, so I'm just leaving it.
So I'm walking you through step by step kind of what I do to prepare a room for painting. Taking the electrical plates off is pretty easy. There's usually just a couple screws and they come right off, and then you can paint underneath of them and it just makes it look more professional. Then before I put the spackling or the nail filler in, I'm just wiping it off. It does say that it's good to wipe it off, just get it clean a little bit. So I'm just wiping around the door a little bit before I fill in the nail holes. There is just little brad nail holes. Oh, and I almost got distracted washing the whole door, but I had to stop myself. There's just little brad nails on the trim, and it's actually kind of hard to see sometimes, but here I am with my bright pink. The nail filler is bright pink when it is wet, but then it dries white. I think that's kind of cool and it's kind of fun. And then you can see like when it's dry, and that was kind of handy. But I was being very stubborn and I didn't go look for my like spatula things. What are they even called? I don't know. But so I just actually cut a yogurt lid and that is what I'm using to scrape off the spackling, because I was being lazy. So it can be done this way. It's probably not the best way. There was times when I was like, oh, I should really have the proper tool here, but that's actually really rare for me. I usually am by the book. I like to do things that are, the right way. And so it's just kind of funny that I was like, I'll just use this. It's fine. And it was fine for the most part, but yeah, it could be better. We built our house in 2015 and I did all the painting. I had people help me do it, and my husband was the one putting in the trim, and so we were the ones responsible for filling in these nail holes and doing the caulking and stuff. And by the time we were done building the house, we were just like, no, it's fine. we were just so lazy about it, and we were like, well, we'll get to it after we move in. But you know what happens? You move in and like you don't get to it. You just do not have time to do that stuff. These holes on the wall are from the shelves that we had up here. So there's just some screw holes up here. It's actually kind of hard to see, but you can see the bright pink, so that's helpful. They're deeper holes, so I was filling them multiple times, trying to kind of like squish the spackling down into the hole so that it would kind of level it off a bit better. And I did pretty good. I think I might still be able to see them when we finish painting, but I'm hoping it's not too noticeable once the whole room is done, and it just is what it is. Oh, that's my daughter. She was just popping her head in to see what Mama's doing. I really like the afternoon light through this window. It doesn't end up getting very golden because it's on the east side of our house and the sun sets on the west. So it has more of a muted light, a little bit more ambient. And yeah, I just thought this was nice. I really hope when it is all painted black that it's still nice. Oh man. At this point of me doing the voiceover, I've already got some paint on the walls, and yeah. It's at the awkward stage where it doesn't actually look nice yet.
Alright friends, we have to wash the walls still, but I wanted to do this first. See how it goes on pink? And then it dries white. Once it dries white, then I can sand it off. So I wanted to sand this all first and then do like a full wall wash and everything. Get everything like super clean so that it's ready. And yeah. I didn't clean the light fixture too because it's got some flies in there. And I think it's missing a light. It looks a little dark. So yeah, it's coming, you guys.
I was going to keep the sound of me sanding in the background, but it sounds kind of like a bug, and that's just not pleasant. Nobody wants that. So I'm finding as I'm doing this work, this prep work for the office, that I do not love it being completely empty. So I definitely do not want to be an extreme minimalist. That just is, it's very hollow sounding, very like depressing, honestly. And cold. It feels cold with nothing in here. So that's been a good lesson for me. Lesson number 1, I do not want an empty room. That's just not what I desire. And it's not even completely empty. It has my desk in it, the things that I need for the office. But yeah, oh, I had to close my eyes because the dust was getting in my eyes. I should probably be wearing glasses, but you know, I just wanted to get it done. Look at me inching around on the floor. I look like a bug myself. I thought it was kind of funny. Doo-doo-doo.
Alright, that's kind of a messy job, but somebody's got to do it. Also super ashamed that it took me that long to get it done. Like it's been 10 years. And finally just getting done. It took like 5 minutes.
So sweeping the walls is maybe a completely unnecessary step, but I knew I was going to be like mopping off the walls, and so I wanted to get as much of the dirt off already, or at least down to the floor before I started mopping, just so that it just kind of gave me the best chance to have a streak-free finish on my paint. I just really cared about the paint, you guys. I just really wanted it to look good, and I don't even think you guys will be able to see on camera that because it's like kind of like a background thing unless I zoomed right into it, but I care. And so I was just trying to do my best with this. And I tend to be a perfectionist sometimes, and this is just how my perfectionism was going.
Alright friends, I'm ready to mop. I've got 2 buckets. The first bucket, the little bucket here, is a rinsing bucket, and the big bucket is clean water. So when I take the broom off the wall, not broom, but Swiffer mop off the wall, I put it into the little bucket to kind of get like the sandy stuff off of it, and then into the big bucket for the cleaner and everything. So Yeah, we're just gonna wash the walls, get that ready, get ready for caulking because I need to caulk the cracks along the trim, and because we just never did it when we moved in. So we're just like, let's just do it. Let's just get this room done. I need to prime where I have filled in holes so that the paint doesn't look weird when you put the new paint on. So that's what we're on to. Let's go. I felt like the quickest way to mop my walls was going to be to actually use the mop. Sorry, the quickest way to wash my walls was to use my mop. It could reach higher and it just made the work a little bit faster. Is it as good of a clean as like hand washing? No, I don't think so. But this was like a good enough option for me. I didn't notice very much dirt left on the wall and like hair and stuff like that. There was a little thing stuck here on the wall, which I think was probably fly spots, you know? So I was just trying to get that. But other than that, there wasn't any big like dirty spots. It was covered. This wall especially was covered by books from the bookshelves, and so it wasn't even exposed to little fingerprints or anything. So this wall was pretty clean. By the light switch, it had some smudgy parts from fingers and stuff, but yeah, that was probably like the dirtiest part of this room because usually you couldn't touch the walls. It was so cluttered. So it's more dust that was on these walls, and I already swept. And so now mopping, I didn't make mud because I swept it off. And so, do you guys wash your walls in the spring? Like your whole house? I know that there's some people who do that, and that's amazing if you do. I just don't have time. Sometimes in the hallway I will, just because it gets way more smudgy in there, alright? And maybe that's what other people do. They just do their more common used areas and more high-touched traffic areas. Yeah, so that makes me feel a little bit better to think about because there's a part of me that's like, I should be doing this every day. I have a very type A personality. Oh, sorry, not every day. Obviously, I know not every day, but I meant every year at least, is what my brain thinks. She tries to be logical, but sometimes she's very impractical about things. And it's like, oh no, Jerry, just chill, okay? It's okay. It's okay. I made sure to change out the water in my little bucket very often during this little clean. Probably every wall. I think I dumped it out and refilled it. Cannot think. But the big bucket, I did not. My thought was like most of the dirt particles are in the little bucket, so the big bucket should be okay. But I will say that this process was a little flawed. I wish I had 2 spin mops because my little bucket, my mop would just kind of suck up all the water from that. It's like I couldn't like wring it out. So then when I put it into the big bucket just got fuller as I went through. I thought that was kind of funny. So by the time I was done, when I was spinning the mop, it was like right under the mop, the water level was. But you know what? It got done. And I'm just trying not to stress about it because like I said, my type A personality would have been like, I need to do this again. And I had to pump the brakes because there was like way more stuff that needed to be done here. Oh yeah, right here. This is the light switch I was talking about earlier that has the grummiest fingerprints around it. So I just kind of got in there with part of the mop to get that cleaned up. So yeah, that was about as detailed as I got around here. Is grummiest even a word? I think I just made up a word. I think you guys understand, but my mouth does not work sometimes, so don't mind me speaking. I do the best that I can, and I am getting better. If you are a longtime follower, let me know. Do you think that my voiceovers have gotten a little bit better? And what would be even better? Oh yeah, while I was here, I was like, I might as well mop the door. You know, it's a real mom thing when you're like, I'm in the middle of washing. What else can I wash? And then my favorite person was giving me the lowdown on how to do the caulking. I've done caulking before, but it's been a while. So, and I wanted him to do the top part anyway. So I was like, why don't you do this window part? And then I'll do the lower trim. So he was game with that. This is DJ, by the way. He's my husband. And he is, yes, very much taller than I am. Considerably taller. I don't know, a whole head and a half. He's 6'6". I am 5'1". So yeah, it's like a full 2 heads, I think. But he's perfect. I call him my other 3/4 because, you know, he's so much bigger than I am. And when we were dating, that was just kind of a funny thing that we would say to each other rather than you're my other half. He's my other 3/4. Look at me go. Using the caulking gun. Whoop whoop. I feel like a real carpenter now. That's a funny inside joke a little bit because that was my dream. Not for me, but for my husband to be a carpenter. And he did take a few years of carpentry school. And he worked for like 10 years building houses. He did mostly the framing and stuff like that, but he did some finishing work too. So he's just a well-rounded guy when it comes to building stuff, which I appreciate. And yeah, has come in very handy because, you know, he built our house and he added all the finishing stuff in our house. The only thing he didn't really do very much of, but he can do, he just chose not to, was the drywall itself, like hanging the drywall. We hired somebody else to do that because that's like a really rough job anyway. And then also doing the tile. He just felt like it was too finicky of work, and so we had somebody else do that. So, but other than that, he's the guy. He built this house. I designed it. It's kind of fun to say that because it's just like our special little thing together. You guys, I'm having a little dilemma. I cannot find my paint pants. They're the pants that I always do all my painting in. Oh, this bedroom is such a mess. And they were right where they're supposed to be. Okay, don't worry guys, I found my magical painting pants. So I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm just gonna go grab some painting stuff. I need to grab the plastic for the ground. I need to prime is what my goal is for this morning, and then I'm gonna start rolling out the walls. Oh, we're almost there. These pants are actually magical. I've had them, I don't know, my husband and I were trying to figure out how long I've actually had them. For a very long time. And that means that my body has changed over time and somehow they still fit me. So in my eyes, that's magical. And also I've worn them for all my painting projects. I wore them to paint this house back in 2014. And also to paint our trailer. I did our trailer in 2021. It was 2021. Our family got quarantined because one of us got COVID. And so we were quarantined for like the whole month. And I was like, this is perfect actually, because I'm going to do the trailer. And at the time I had my youngest who was like less than 1. She was like baby. Not baby. She was born in November. So this was in May when I did this. And so she was like 6 months old. So my husband was home. He could like watch her and be kind of like the stay-at-home dad. And I just like worked on the trailer. And that is one of our favorite projects to date. We got that done and that it looks absolutely beautiful. I'll share a little clip with you. Here at the door, I was just trying to make sure that this plastic didn't come up because I knew we'd be walking in and out of here like 1,000,000,001 times. So I didn't want the kids to catch their toes on it or anything like that. And then my plastic only went 3/4 of the room way. So I had another sheet of plastic I needed to put back here. But I also wanted to keep my computer plugged in because my idea was I could do like a layer of paint and then work a little bit on houseplants and then paint and houseplants. And I thought like, oh, I could just be super productive this way. Yeah, I can tell you right now, that's not how that went down. I'm sure all of you could guess that, but you guys. Anyways, moving on.
One of the things we didn't remove when I did the electrical plates was just this return air vent. And when I looked down in there, I was like, oh, there's some little staples, but also like, where does this go? It's not connected to anything. That's so weird. I'm so confused. It's supposed to be a return duct. Like, where's the rest of the duct? Anyways, I'm not a mechanical person, so I know very little about it. I've drawn some mechanical plans, but other than that, I don't really know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
I've
this is
never
wild.
looked before.
Having the desk in the middle of the office, and I just dropped all my papers. Okay. Anyways, my hair's coming out already. Freaking gong show. Plastic is down. Now I can prime. Oh, you guys, it's noon already, and I cannot find my little roller that goes with these little rollers. I don't know where it is. So I'm gonna paint it, and then I've got a big roller, so I'll just roll over top of it or just paint it. So I want to save the big roller for actually painting the rest of the room, so I'll just paint it with the little brush, and hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it doesn't show through. I'm so mad. I must have donated it. Oh no. Oh my gosh, you guys, I actually found it. It was with my other paintbrushes. Duh. Ugh. Okay, I'm glad I found it, because I have got this little thing that goes around the paint can. You know? There you go. And so I don't have to pour it out because I'm not going to use that much. And I've got my little rollers. Okay. The day has been saved. Let's continue on. Got my handy dandy stirring stick. I've got I need a flat one. This one. All right. Here we go. Oh, so mad. Glad I found that. Okay, this is just primer. I've had it for 3 years? Nope. Was in 2021. 4 years? Because I did my trailer renovation then. And I painted the whole trailer with this. And it's still going strong. Actually, it feels like there's quite a bit left in here still. It would be helpful if I could open this. You can't do this. I gotta go get a knife. Come on, baby. Ooh. Okay. Oh, she stinks. Okay, and then you just, it's got these like cracks in it, and that's just what fits into the groove of the paint can. There. How cute, except for my things here. Sorry. I actually got to put it on this side so you can still hold the handle. There we go. Okay. Come on. Ah. There. Where? It rolls. Good enough. I was very excited to actually start painting. This is like what I've been waiting for all month, is to get some kind of paint on the wall. So just priming over where we filled in those nail holes, so that, because that like spackling is drier than the rest of the wall, so it has tendency to like really soak in the paint, and then you can see the blotchiness behind it. So I spread out the primer with the roller just to help kind of feather it out, so it's not just this one streak of primer too, you know. Painting is just, it's kind of a finicky sport. And then I was going around the trim work too, to where I had filled in holes around here so that when I did painting on trim, it did the same thing. It just had a nice even finish and wasn't blotchy. Now, I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be painting the trim or not. My original idea was to color wash the room, and so everything would be painted in the same color, the trim, the walls, even the ceiling. And so that was kind of like my original idea, just to make it more like cocoon-like and less distracting. But I also just didn't want to have a lot of work in front of me, and yeah, the more things you paint, the more work there is to do. Here's a nice close-up. See? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So nice. So one of the other lessons that I've learned about doing this room renovation has just been that I don't want to put all of my stuff back in here. Like, I was trying to think of like, how can I keep a little bit more of breathing space in this room? I don't want to stack the walls all the way to the ceiling. Like, I just want it to look nice. I want it to be nice and pleasant to be in. And so I've just been trying to brainstorm, like, what do I actually need to keep and what can I start to declutter? And now the decluttering video is going to be coming up because I wanted to do that. Oh yeah, when we did the house, we didn't paint the end of the trims. Yeah, anyways, so that needed to be primed too. But anyways, moving everything out of this room has taught me that I don't need to bring everything back in. Like, I really just want to be very choosy about what I do. All right, I just wanted to get those end of the doors primed because it looks like the white paint. I honestly haven't decided yet if I'm going to paint the trim or not. Like, honestly, I originally was like, I want to color drench the whole room, and I don't know, I'm having a little bit of doubts about it, like partly because of the work involved, but also partly because I don't know if I'll like it. Anyways, my husband was like, just do it because, you know, you got everything out of there. If you're gonna try it, you might as well try it now. So it's nice that he's supportive. But I gotta finish priming over where I covered the nail holes that is in the rest of the trim work. And then at least I'm ready if I do end up doing it. Like 90% sure I'll do it, but you know. I'm nervous about it, but I think it'll be nice. I think it'll look beautiful and just help to really just mute the walls and stuff. Just reduce as many distractions as possible. So we'll see. Okay, anyways, getting back to priming, let's go. That was so pleasant to be painting and to be able to hear the meadowlark singing. That was very calming and I needed that today. So that is a wrap for today. This is me prepping for the thumbnail. Come back on Friday. We're gonna have a painting video. We're gonna have a little painting party and get some paint on these walls. And then come back next week and we're gonna do some decluttering, either next week or the week after. I'm not sure. I've got some travel plans that might kind of interrupt things, but we shall see. We're gonna get it done and this office is gonna be beautiful. I promise you guys. I'm not leaving it fugly. The current state of my bedroom is absolutely atrocious. Something has to be done. This is pushing me forward. So come back and I will see you guys next time. Bye.